Hello, my name is Marian. I'm from the blog Miss Mustard Seed.
And I'm Kriste. I'm from the blog Rosemary in Time.
And this is Design Ramblings, where we talk about all things design and home related. And so we've mentioned in a couple of past videos that you're a renter, and we did have someone leave a comment letting us know that they're a renter as well and trying to find projects to do while they're renting. You know, they can't paint their walls, they can't replace their fixtures. You know, they're pretty limited, but they still want to be able to nest and work on things, but also make changes to things that they can that then they can carry to when they buy their own home.
Right.
So they're not spending a bunch of time and money on projects that then...
Just to waste it.
Right, exactly. So we'll talk a little bit about that because I know a lot of people rent. I've rented.
It's a struggle.
Kriste rents.
My life.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I think that's normal for newlyweds.
Oh, yeah. And I think in the next year or so we'll be in our own home, but...
Yeah.
There's lots of different things that you can do. I think, first of all, don't always assume that you can't make changes to your home. A lot of times, if you just have a little courage and you ask your landlord, if you offer sometimes to say, like, hey, I'd really love to paint in here, if you offer to paint it back when you move, a lot of times they'll let you do it. And, you know, as long as you're not doing crazy colors, they typically won't mind. Something that I've done is, nowhere that I've been able to paint. I've asked, and everyone's like, no, you can't paint. But I hate carpet. Like, I hate it. I really, really hate it. My husband likes it. He thinks it's cozy, but I just don't like it.
That's the same with Jeff and I. He's like, can we
it.
have anywhere in the house where we can, like, wrestle and lay on the floor? He means him and the boys, where they can wrestle and lay on the floor. And I'm like, why do you need that?
Yeah, no, I don't get it. But something that I've done to kind of combat that is getting area rugs. And my first thought of putting a rug on a rug, I was like, why would I do that? And my husband even was like, I don't get that. But I tried it in a room, and I really, really liked the way that it looked. And especially most rentals do really, the beige or the white carpet and whatever. So it's neutral to begin with. So if you get something that's a little bit, patterned or something like that, it really helps to make the room your own, and also kind of counteracts the sea of carpet that can happen. So that's something that I've tried.
Because you put a jute. Do you have a jute carpet?
Yep.
Down? I was noticing that in your family room. That looked really nice textures.
Yeah,
and
I have
stuff
two.
going
I have
on.
one that's plain in my family room, and then upstairs in my office, I have where I have carpeting. I have a jute rug that has kind of black specks in it. So that adds a little bit of texture, adds a little bit of pattern, and it also protects my floor from paint and glue and all of that
and
stuff.
then that's something you can take with you when you move or when you buy a home. Then you have because I'm assuming if you buy, or I know you guys are talking about maybe building even, then I'm assuming you'd probably want hardwood floors or something like that, and then you'd have the rugs for that already. So I think that's a good idea. We rented for a few years, different apartments like most newlyweds do, and then Jeff decided he was going to finish his degree. So we moved into his parents' basement for 2 years. So
bravo.
I know. That's a little... Now, I will say they were amazing to live with. I think a lot of people who have to go live with their in-laws, it's like nightmare. They were amazing, very generous. It was a huge, huge blessing to us. So in all those ways, it was great. When it came to me wanting to decorate, it was like that. It was hard. But I found that's actually when I started painting furniture and refinishing, really getting into it. I had done it a little bit before, but that's when I really got into it. That's when I did my first upholstered chair. I did a whole bunch of sewing. I made curtains to cover up, certain storage areas and stuff like that. So it's sort of having that challenge sort of woke up my creativity and pushed me in ways that I hadn't been pushed before. So it was really a lot of the skills that I know now I learned then because I couldn't paint the walls and I couldn't change out the fixtures or do things like that. So I think that you could really take advantage of that time while you're renting.
Yeah. Working with what you have.
Right.
Yeah, for me, a lot of that is, playing with furniture. Right now, a lot of our stuff is hand-me-down, and we don't want to necessarily buy a bunch of furniture for a house that we're not going to have forever. So, I just redid my dining room chairs, which were hand-me-downs, and that was great. So, yeah, I guess...
Those look nice.
I guess really good. Working with the furniture pieces that you have, if there's a certain color that you love, like, go for it and paint it that color. For me, I like to neutralize things, I think. So, my living room is kind of like a taupey beige color, and I would love for it to be white. But I can't paint it white. And our floors are like that orangey, like, classic hardwood floor, with the lacquer over it. So I like to neutralize all of that. So I do a lot of white pieces. I have the jute rug, which is really texturally interesting but very neutral. And then I just kind of bring in pops of color and stuff with my accent pieces.
Yeah, and that's what I always did when I had white walls. And actually, I grew up always in, borrowed housing. My dad was in the military, and so we lived in Army housing. And it was really neat to see how the kinds of tricks that my mom would use to make the place home. So she did a few things that you can do, like to the walls and things like that if you want to. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's an investment of time and money. But she would starch fabric to the wall. And if you just mix, if you just pure liquid starch, roll it on the wall, stick fabric to it, and then roll the starch over the fabric. Mm-hmm. It looks like wallpaper, and then it'll just peel off when you're ready for a change or when you move. And actually, this is awesome. You can wash the fabric and then take it with you. Yeah, and you can starch it up again, or you can use it to upholster a chair. So if it's a fabric you really love, you can take it with you. Mm-hmm. And another option is they had really ugly countertops. So she used contact paper on the countertops and then again peeled it up when we left. So she did, it was kind of that faux butcher block, but they have really cool it looks like Carrara marble contact paper.
Well, we have a little bar cart that's just, it's like this chintzy little thing from the 70s, and it had that fake wood kind of, look to it. But I really like the exterior is brass, and it's just, it's really sweet, and I got it for a really good price. So I did the marble on it, and it looks awesome now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I've also seen people use hot glue, because you can actually hot glue things like the Nestor. She rented her home for a long time, has a lot of great posts about renting with a family, and it wasn't like they were newlyweds renting as a family. They were, which a lot of people do that for job reasons or financial reasons, or they want the mobility or whatever. But there was a tile backsplash that she didn't like, so she hot glued beadboard to it. And when she left, she just pulled the beadboard off, and the hot glue just pulls right off along with it.
That's a really good idea.
Isn't it? Are you going to use it?
Well, we don't have a backsplash.
Oh, okay. Well,
and
I don't know if you'd want a hot glue to
that's
drywall. I don't think you could. But I bet you could tack it up in place or something like that.
Yeah, because, when we cook, it just, twice a week I'm, scrubbing our walls. Yeah. And that'd be really nice to have.
Yeah.
At least something to catch it.
Yeah. So anyway, there's so many ideas of things that you can do. I would suggest focusing on, if you're going to make investments somewhere, make it in furniture that is not specific to your space. Definitely. So I wouldn't buy a big hutch that's just perfect for this wall, because you might move and not have a spot for it anymore. And then I do think for those hand-me-downs, any money that you put into those to fix them up, and even if they're not quite your style, eventually you'd like to replace them, if you fix them up and make them look nice, then you can sell them.
Resell them. Yeah.
And get a profit from them.
We resell everything, everything. And you would be really surprised, what people are willing to pay for, something that you got at a yard sale for a few dollars and you paint up, and, people will, pay.
It's my whole business is based on that.
Success story right here.
That's right. But you can do that as an individual.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't have to be a business. You can fix stuff up and sell it. Yeah. And actually, if you do that enough, that is a way you can trade up to get nicer furniture that you really love.
Well, and I do that. Yeah. I do that with my wardrobe a lot. Like, I'll shop maybe secondhand or whatever and buy nicer brands, and then I'll resell it for more than I paid, and then I can, kind of like cycle things in and out. And you can do that anywhere. You can do that in your home, whatever. I also want to touch on the whole investment idea of buying bigger pieces.
Okay.
So for me at least, when I buy furniture, I like to envision what my dream home is. Rather than being like, well, I have a space over here that needs something, so I'm going to go buy something, think about, well, the house that I want to be in forever, I'd really like this room to be this way, and I'd like it to be this style, and then work from there and take the time to, look for pieces that you're going to love over time rather than just filling space for now.
That's a good point, because I do think a lot of people, they'll get these hand-me-downs and they're like, oh, I hate this orange sofa, but I really need a coffee table to go with it. So they buy like a coffee table that goes with the horrible orange sofa that they hate. So now they have two pieces of furniture that they hate instead of one that they hate and one that they love that's eventually going to be, work with what they have going on. So yeah, I think definitely buy with the future in mind, knowing that there's going to come a time where you can pick out the sofa that you want, or you can pick out the pieces that you want and buy those on your own. And so don't make it harder by buying pieces that you don't like just because they work with what you have. Wait, we're going to talk about investment pieces in our next, the next episode, because Kriste she's been doing a series on her blog about investment pieces, and we had talked about talking about that as well. So we'll sort of continue this conversation on. But for those who rent now, like, be encouraged. There's a lot that you can do to make that place your home, and also to sort of build up your furniture and accessories to then carry those into the time when you can finally buy your home. So we hope this has been an encouragement to you and has given you some ideas. And thanks for liking and commenting and subscribing and all that good stuff. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter and our blogs. And
we'll have all the links to all of that down in the description bar. You can check them out.
That's right. And if you have any questions that you would like us to answer specifically, or have a space that you would like us to ramble about, then please send us pictures and an email or a description or a question or whatever. You can send them to Marian@missmustardseed.com, or do you want to give them your email too?
Yeah.